Friends called me a fake engineer. I bought their dinner. My daughters convinced me to share this story. Apparently, when you're a dad who doesn't chase drama but finds himself in the middle of it, the world needs to hear about it. This happened last year, and yes, it was petty, but also deeply satisfying. It started with a birthday dinner at a Japanese steakhouse, the kind where the chefs cook right in front of you, flipping shrimp into their hats and making volcanoes out of onions. My wife's coworker, let's call her CW1, invited us along with several other families. Each couple had a pair of teenagers seated at their own table, while we adults sat separately. So there we were, CW1 and her husband, Arrogant Engineer 1, AE1, CW2 and her husband, my CPA, and Arrogant Engineer 2, AE2, and his wife. My wife and I rounded out the group. The evening started out as most do. Chit-chat, sake, a few top-shelf drinks, and loud jokes from the other engineers that quickly turned competitive. AE1 and AE2 seemed locked in a silent battle over who could drop the most money or flex the hardest. My CPA and I exchanged knowing looks and let them have their moment, at least at first. Then it turned sideways. One of my daughters, seated at the kids' table, ordered sushi appetizers, shrimp, scallops, and mocktails, harmless, until AE2, who apparently overheard her, chuckled and made a snide comment that carried loud and clear, "Careful, your daddy's only an agricultural engineer. He doesn't make what us real engineers make." Now, for context, both AE1 and AE2 are structural engineers. Bachelor's degrees, salaried jobs, respectable professions. I'm an agricultural engineer with a PhD. I consult for governments, private firms, and major agro corporations. I own a sustainable agriculture consulting firm. I help design vertical farms, tower gardens, and sustainable food systems, both in urban cities and in developing countries. I'm not a rock star or a millionaire, but I've built a reputation, and I get paid well for what I do. In fact, last year I landed a multi-year seven-figure contract for large-scale tower garden implementation across several states. But apparently, these two assumed I ran around barefoot teaching villagers how to dig holes for tomatoes for free. Their jokes continued. Is it good to plant onions and carrots next to each other? Followed by a round of laughter as they high-fived over their witty dig at my profession. Even their wives rolled their eyes. I let it go. My CPA, however, was trying not to fall off his chair, laughing, because what AE1 didn't know is that my CPA handles both our books. AE1, still drunk on ego and sake, challenged the CPA to reveal what he made last year after bonuses. The number was respectable, a solid 6 figures. But the CPA grinned and turned to me. "You want me to share yours?" I declined, politely. But the smirking continued. At that point, I excused myself and headed to the restroom. But I had another stop in mind. I found our waiter, pulled out my card, and paid for the entire party's meal, appetizers, entrees, drinks, desserts for all adults and teens, and left a very generous tip beyond the automatic service fee they had added for the large party. When I got back to the table, dessert had arrived. As the waiter handed out plates, he thanked me in front of everyone for covering the check and added that the tip was the best he'd seen all month. The table fell silent. AE1 and AE2 looked stunned. I smiled, nodded, and turned to the CPA. "Now you can tell them." He did. My income last year, after taxes, was just shy of triple what AE1 brought home. AE2's eyes widened. AE1 blinked like he'd been slapped with a napkin soaked in soy sauce. I pushed in my chair, wished everyone a good night, and left with my wife and daughters.